Walking over to the shop this morning and see how that epoxy turned out on that kitchen island top. I'll give it about a 1 in 10 chance that I don't have to do another coat. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do another coat on it. I did my best I could to protect it, and I think I did really well, but not quite well enough. I have lights out here. That little light out there, that's for attracting the bugs to keep them away from the shop. This one here still got some juice, as has the one on top of my van's off. But anyway, by putting the lights on last night, kept the bugs, as you saw, from getting in the shop. Now let's go see what it's like in there. Let's go look at that top. Spent a lot of time putting this cover on to try and protect it. Mostly covered by this big frame, which was very handy to put on top of it, then just drape everything over it. And as I expected the top, sure enough, I found a termite. And there's only one thing left to do after that. That means you've got to redo the top. So you've got to scratch it up, sand it down, and then clean it to make sure there's no dust on there. So I'll go over it with some sort of alcohol, very, very mild type of solvent. Then it's time to mix up some more stuff and pour another coat on the entire thing. And that basically starts with pouring it into smaller cups. Oh, and yeah, I might add, because it's hot and I can't put a fan on, you've got to make sure you don't have drips that come off your forehead because you get so hot. So anyway, I transfer from large, because it's kind of hard to control trying to pour out of that large container, into much smaller containers. And I just kind of go around with a couple of those, trying to stay in one area, coat it as much as possible, let it spread naturally, and then just go over the entire top, making sure everything is covered. And it's time to pop some bubbles, which you're doing for quite a while, and then cover it up. And then later, you can come, make sure everything looks good. Take a little peek underneath there, everything's looking good. Then it's time to uncover it and see if it came out as good as you hope it did. And to my delight, it came out absolutely beautifully. That cover worked great, no bugs. I think maybe 2 specks of dust, literally. It just came out that good. Absolutely delighted. Though it looks and touches and feels dry, it's not. If you look here, if you look at it on the ground, you can see where it is. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but see how easy I can put a fingerprint there. I can make indentations in it. It feels dry to the touch, but it's still very, very soft. So I've got to keep this protected and not touch it for the next couple of days. Put it over on one side of the shop and completely baby it. And in the meantime, it's back to taking all the trash out and down to the trash parts. Trash day tomorrow, so they'll be coming to pick that up. I don't burn it or anything, and it's difficult to do with lots of sawdust clippings because they don't burn very well anyway. So I just bag it up, take it down to the trash, and let them deal with it. Now it's back to the bar height tables. And I'm working on the legs here, just figuring out get them together. And what I'm doing essentially is I'm making a jig that they sit in. Once I've made that, then as you can see here, I can then put them together and have everything where it's set up, clamp them all together, screw them, glue them, and they'll be done. All right, they came out very well. Now I can take them up, take the clamps off, take them down, and go on to the next stage of putting the whole thing together. Next stage is making the top. So here I am just using a shop compass. Then I'll cut these out on the bandsaw. Got a carbide tip blade on that bandsaw. It works really well. It's only a 1/2 inch bandsaw blade, so you can get really tight corners and radius of this, which is awesome. Also, something I had to do is got a lot of, I guess for want of a better term, snots, glue lumps, and just little areas on the bench that when I'm putting the finished side down, sometimes I get little dents. I had to just sand it down. You got to do that to your bench every so often. Once the tops are cut out, then I use the radius jig, radial jig, circle jig, whatever you want to call it, for the router. Cut those out and trim them, and then come back and put on the radius on the corner. Officially, I know it's still springtime, but right now the temperatures in southeast Louisiana, upper 80s probably every day from this point on till probably September. It'll break some point in time. It pretty much feels like summer from this point on, and to tell you the truth, that's the way I love it. So today is a Saturday. I'm walking into the shop. I'm gonna do a couple hours of work in the shop. To give a clarification on that, I work pretty much 7 days a week. That doesn't mean I slave my fingers to the bone 12 hours a day and I never get any breaks. No, today I'll only probably put in 2, 3, 4 hours at the absolute most, probably 2 or 3. But like I said, I work 7 days a week. Yesterday I probably worked about 6 or 7. The day before I worked about 10 or 12. And when it's your own shop in your own property, you have the luxury of being able to do that. I can just roll out of bed, go get some food, and roll straight into the shop. Don't have to worry about a commute or a travel. So I get a lot more economical use of my time, and I don't have to worry about, like I said, traveling and wasting that time in the car and traffic and everything else. So today will be just finishing up one of those tables I started building. And as I start building that, or finish building that rather, sanding that down, then I'm gonna probably spend some time just cleaning up around the shop, so that the next time I come in here, I can really start powering into some work, which I love coming into a clean shop. I often say, and I've said it before, you may have heard me say it previously, one of the things I like to do, well I don't, is cleaning my shop, because the more I'm cleaning the shop, the more I'm making a mess. So it's basically, it just means that I'm being more productive, and that's the main thing that counts. So I'll need to be cleaning on a frequent basis. All right, anyway, I'm waffling on, prattling on. You don't want to hear any more of me. Let's get into the shop and do some work. And the bottom of those tables has a little cutout so that you have minimal surface contact. So what I had to do is in the little jig, just put some pieces of ply down at the same thickness as that little cutout, so that when I put the pieces in like this, they sit flat. I can can all go together well. And this is the actual assembly. The first one you saw yesterday, I was putting those together. That was just kind of trial and error, saying make sure everything worked, working out any bugs, figuring out how to do it. And today it's time to glue it up and put it together. So that's what's going on with these ones right now. Now it's time to put everything together, but before I do, sand everything now. It's a lot easier to sand it in pieces than it is when everything is together, as I said. Sand both sides, get that radius nice and smooth all the way around. And when you got the radius, all the little tiny machine marks out, then you come up with the top with the big boy sander there and get it really nice and flat and smooth, ready for finish. I'm not going to be finishing these, the customer will finish them themselves. And what I did to attach the base to the top is I used this metal disc. I actually ended up using something different, which we'll show in a different video, and route out the circle, same depth and size, just a little bit oversized on the top. And then I put in these threaded inserts, and I've got holes pre-drilled into the metal disc that goes on top of the base. You use these metal inserts and you slide that over. Then you just use little 1/4-20 bolts. I was trying to use 5/16, but I couldn't find the right sizes easily. I'll try and see if I can find those in the future. Just nice to get something a little bigger and heavier. I use those 1/4-20 and it holds it together really, really well, super solid. So here is a more or less finished product without the finish on it. And I will give the customer a call, have them come take a look and see what they think. So there we are, 2 of these to make. So customer can come and check them out. And again, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe below. And if you have any questions, I'll get to them as soon as I can. And in the meantime, I will see you hopefully next week. Again, thanks for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.